the auspicious beginning in the mind. So that is the way Eastern wisdom begins. Why? Because we want to change the attitude. So once we change the attitude in the mind, what it means by change in attitude, it is a cognitive change. Attitude change practice is known as the Mangalacharan and the mantra. So cognitive change helps to start the journey of Eastern wisdom. But then the second step comes. Second step is knowing the world outside. The world outside, we think it is the world outside, it is only one. But there are two layers of the world. Two layers of the world. One is the objective and other is the subjective world. One is objective and second is the subjective world. So that is understood as seen in the seer, knower and the known. What is changing constantly and unchanging. So because we take the world as only one that keeps on changing, hides the changing, hides the unchanging layer. What does that mean? You have the waves are constantly moving, but the water remain constant. Is it not? Water remain constant, waves are changing, water remain constant. Metaphorically, the seer, unchanging identity hides the change. What it means? The electricity hides, and you see that electricity manifests as light, as a coolness in AC, as power in car, as so you can as air in the fan. But we don't see electricity. We see only what is manifesting. So it means we are not clear about the two layers of the world. So what happens when we mess up with the two layers of the world? Then we take changing as unchanging and unchanging as unchanging. What it means? I am the body. Body does not change. Body should not change. And we start working on the body. But by default, body keeps on changing, and that gives us problem, pain, duality, conflict. You see? So that is the second part. But question comes, how to understand this world outside? No, yes, there is another problem. Now, who am I? Am I the changing world or unchanging? You see that? Whether I have to find out. I am not sure. I have to find out. This is what the master says. Then comes another level. The now question is from where we have to start the journey. Where we have to start the journey. So the master says Eastern wisdom is just a knowledge, an instrument of knowledge. Instrument of knowledge. Yeah? What it does, knowledge, instrument of knowledge, it helps us to find out who I am, and what is suffering, and how to bring an end to suffering. So once we are clear about this Eastern wisdom, that it helps me to bring an end to the suffering, the ultimate goal is this, and to find out the real self. So then it master says that real self is of the nature of peace, happiness, love, truth and wisdom. So what to do? So then master says 4 connections. Now we start purely scientifically the journey. Now the very first thing we have to, it is 90% internal or mental practice. What is that? 4 connections. 4 connections. To understand it is a 90%. What is that? 90% mental practice. So what are these 4 elements? The first is the subject matter. We have to be clear about what exactly we are talking about. So subject matter is that we want to know who we are. We want to know who we are. We are already messing up whether we are a changing identity or unchanging. That is, but unchanging. Now second is who can follow the journey of Eastern wisdom, or who can follow the journey of the Eastern wisdom or self-discovery. So the master says you have to be a seeker. We will talk about who is a seeker later. So this is a kind of, you take admission in a medical school and there is an orientation program. So this is something, 4 connection is like an orientation towards Eastern wisdom to understand how the journey goes. So who can follow the path of the Eastern wisdom? So the first factor is subject matter. Second factor is I have to be a seeker. The third factor is the result. What is the result? End of suffering in life, and then awakening. Awakening to what? Awakening to our real nature. Then what is that? Is permanent peace, happiness, love, truth and wisdom. But question is, there are only 3 factors. The first is the subject matter. Second is that I have to be a seeker. And third factor is the result. And you said it is a 4 connections. No, so we connect the first factor with the second, first with the third, and the second with the third. So during the day, it is always good to think about it. What is the first factor? Subject matter. What is the second? Second is the self-discovery, the real self. So how to connect, it means how to connect. We don't know how to connect these 2 factors. And that is why the master says first you understand you have 3 connections, and then you have to connect. The first means subject matter. with the seeker. Now, if the seeker says there is nothing, I am the body and the mind, I just have, sex, or all kinds of pleasure, authority, and possession is all about my life is. So now those people cannot become a seeker. So you cannot connect with the first and the second factors. So that is why we have to understand how to connect first with the second, second with the third, first with the third. So first, there is a lot of doubt. The first factor is to know the real self, who we are. And third is, if I know myself, then it will bring an end to the suffering. Answer is yes. Answer is big yes. But how it is possible? So we have to understand this. So now the next step comes, how to become a seeker. How to become a seeker by fourfold practices. Now there was a fourfold connection. Here is a fourfold practice. The first practice, again, 90% it is mental intellectual practice. First is viveka. I have to learn what exactly is discernment. I have to understand what is dispassion. I have to understand the six treasures of calmness, of mastery over the mind, mastery over the sense organs. And when I have mastery, mastery over the mind means internal mastery. Mastery over the senses means external mastery. And then we have six treasures. What are the six treasures? That is what I said: calmness, mastery over mind, and mastery over the senses. Then we live into the state of equanimity. That is the third treasure. Then we have a level of what we say endurance or resilience. So we should develop resilience. Then we should develop faith and one-pointed focus in the journey of self-discovery. These are the intense desire. These are the fourfold qualification. So when I follow this fourfold practices, I become a seeker. Then the seeker treads the path of self-discovery. Treads the path of self-discovery. Now see what happens, seeks the path of self-discovery. There comes the karma yoga. What is karma yoga? We change our mental, again it is 90% intellectual. We change our mental attitude towards thought, speech, and action in our daily life. We explore if I am doer, if I am really a doer, or I am not. And if I am not a doer, why to worry? Why to have guilt? So this karma yoga leads to the bhakti yoga, the emotional resilience. You can say emotional resilience, or you can also say emotional quotient. We develop emotional quotient. This is karma yoga, purifies the mind and mental maturity. What is mental maturity? Sometimes you have seen people in the last session. In the last session, you have seen that gentleman said that I am never confused. and he was totally confused. He kept his eyes open during the practice. So there is a no mental maturity. What you have to say, I say nothing, I just avoid. I said, I'm sorry, I said. But because you have not gone through the initial journey, even for 3 years, how you can learn? So, mental maturity. Bhakti yoga leads to your emotional maturity. It leads to emotional maturity. Now, with the mental and the emotional maturity, the intellect is free from bias, to explore who we really are, who we are. Okay. So what these practices continues. So now the next step, the seeker understands what are the three bodies and how we are not the bodies. Means physical body, subtle body, causal body. Casual no, causal body. Then we understand, seeker knows, then seeker understands the 5 koshas, means the 5 coverings of the real self. 5 coverings of the real self. We analyze, we do the practice, we understand the 5 coverings are not me. Then we seeker understands the 3 states. What are the 3 states? The waking, the dream, and the sleep states. Why we have to understand this? To find the 4th state of consciousness. What is that 4th state of consciousness? You can roughly say it is meditation, it is mindfulness. It is always available. Yes, it is always available. Unless we transcend the 3 states, we cannot enter into the 4th stage. Like this, then the seeker understands 2 major types of meditation. 2 major types. There are 7 or 8 types, but 2 major types. Meditation with an object and meditation without an object. What is meditation with an object? You pay attention to the mantra, you pay attention, meditation on the breath, you focus on something, and the time comes you meditate without an object. So when you meditate without an object, there is a kind of self-absorption, there is a revelation in your, and that revelation gives you a glimpse of who we are. Then the seeker passes through. I'm making a very concise path. Then the seeker passes through. One is awakening, then realization, and then transformation. So then what happens? Now the seeker thinks, speaks, and acts in peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. He checks himself. Is it okay? He checks himself in personal, professional, social, family lives, and that is the path in the life of awakening. I'm just made it a very simple so that you remember. We will follow we will follow these steps one after the other. So it all depends on how much time our mind takes to perfect and progress in each step. So that is how the journey of the self-discovery is defined. So you see that it's a very clear path. We know these steps, and each step we can follow the path. So now see that let us do a simple, we begin with the Mangalacharan. I said in the very attitudinal change, how by thought process. That is what the Mangalacharan is. So Mangalacharan, let us do the Mangalacharan practice first, and then we will go deeper into understanding. So Mangalacharan is change in attitudinal change. We will go for how attitudinal change? How? By thinking. How by thinking? Through the mantra. What about the mantra? Mantra that expands our mind to universe and beyond. Let us see that. Close your eyes and let us close your eyes. Find out the right place, position and posture. We are doing the very first, the beginner's practice. Place, position and posture. Adjust your body. You are comfortable and you find the right place, position and posture. Yes, you can add being comfortable. What it means by being comfort. So you have a level of comfort experience. So what we do in Eastern wisdom, we change the direction of the mind. And how we change the direction of the mind? You look, feel, experience the body from top to the bottom, maybe the skin of entire body. So as you move the mind on the body, you start feeling some sensation. Means what? Means that you raise your self-awareness towards the body. In that state, we experience what we experience? Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. This is just a preparatory step. We have yet to follow the Mangalacharan. So now you are looking inside. Change of direction means inside. Mind is inside. And when the mind is inside, we find sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So experience that sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now we will go for Mangalacharan Mangalacharan means Mangal means auspiciousness. Charan means conduct, behavior, and attitude. So, in modern psychology, you might have heard the word CBT. CBT is a cognitive behavior therapy. But our practice, our Mangalacharan practice, it is not therapy. It is the cognitive understanding, cognitive understanding that leads to cognitive change. Cognitive change changes the behavior and attitude. Behavior and attitude. Change in behavior and attitude changes the way we use thought, speech, and action in daily living in our, and that changes our mind. It purifies the mind. It brings kind of emotional, I told you, emotional resilience as such. So what now come to the so what happens? We pick up the mantra and we say loud or mentally in the mind, loudly or mentally 3 times. After that, we repeat the meaning 3 times and then we reflect on the reflect on the mantra. What is reflection? Reflection is mental. Mental asking what, why, how, why we ask to bring about a cognitive understanding. Cognitive means understanding, simply. And to bring about the cognitive change. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You can say in your mind or loudly, Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Now 3 times we will repeat the meaning. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. Now, what we said, may there be happiness for all. So it means happiness is present everywhere, in all beings. So that happiness, it is all pervading. But I don't see. That is what we, but I don't see. That is what we need to discover. So we are need to discover. We are laying a foundation. How? By the Mangalacharan, by the very first practice. You know, when we say you are different from me. How? By age, different from me, by age, gender, nationality, color, strength, and a long list. So that difference is one part of the word that is changing world, and the happiness deep inside all of us, all of us is the unchanging part of the world, unchanging, that is me. So, are we not laying a foundation? Yes. That is another way to understand why we do this, why we do this. Our mind is hijacked by delusion, and the delusion perceives only one word, that is the changing word. That is the changing word of the body, breath, brain, mind, intellect, ego. So we are laying a foundation that it is not one word. There is unchanging entity. You see, so we have not to leave this every day without fail. May their second line, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May their Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. May there be peace for all. May there be peace for all. So we can reflect differently. We are all seekers of peace and happiness. Is it not? If we are seekers, we are not seekers. We are not seekers of anxiety and stress and pain and suffering. No, we are seekers of. So, if we are seekers of peace and happiness, what it means? We want to be in peace all the time, in all locations, in all relations. Means what? Then the peace has to be all pervading. So does the Eastern wisdom says? Eastern wisdom says we are discovering permanent peace. Answer is yes. Yes, that is what you see that is why we say let there be peace for all. Another problem, the peace in here, another beautiful point, not problem. You are in peace, I am in peace. We are communicating in peace. We are thinking in peace. We are acting in peace. We are living in peace. Done. So it brings, we are thinking, speaking, communicating in peace. Then what? Then what? We bypass, or you can say, we transcend the word, first nature of the word, that is changing. Third line of the mantra is Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. May there be wholeness. You might have heard wholeness, Holy Spirit. What we are saying in Eastern wisdom, I should let me discover how I am whole. That wholeness is not outside. That is not outside. It is inside me. It is inside everyone. It is inside everyone? Yes. So we need to discover. But for attitudinal change, just so you understand what happens. What happens when we have a knowledge. Knowledge means and understanding. And understanding means understanding that you are whole, I am whole. You are whole and I am whole. What it means? You are whole, I am whole, he or she is whole. Then what happens? Do I have any expectations? Do I have any expectation? Or you can say craving and desire from you? No, big no. So if I don't have that, so when I don't have that expectations, then how I will communicate? How I will communicate with you? Obviously, I will communicate with you in peace, in happiness, in joy. I'm ready to share that joy instead getting into anxiety due to expectations. That is the essence of wholeness. That is how we need to think. So you say from today you meet someone, internally you think that I am whole, and then you start talking, and you express your speech as if you are sharing that peace and happiness. The last line of the mantra, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspicious. What is auspiciousness? So when your mind is in peace, there is emotional maturity, and then what happens? Then that is auspiciousness in time, in place, in relationship. And that opens the door to the higher journey. What Mangalacharan? First we did the cognitive understanding, Very good. We can move into a meditation also. Just keep looking at the breath goes inside, you drop Om Shanti. Breath comes out, Om Shanti. So we move from cognitive understanding to cognitive change, means change in the intellect. Change in the intellect, change our behavior and attitude. That brings about change in thinking, speaking, and action. That changes our life, daily living, changes our daily living. How by Mangalacharan. So you are just dropping mantra Om Shanti with each breath going in and out. You need not to worry about just even if any other thought comes, no worry, you just bypass and continue the journey. Continue the journey. Om Shanti. So, you see, when you are doing it regularly, you will recognize what is preventing your mind. What is preventing your mind not to do it? And what aids your mind to practice? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. I unmuted your phone so you have your session. So you can unmute and then you can talk to.
Okay. Yeah, I think something important in Eastern wisdom is to learn.
Yes.
Probably not to react.
Yes.
to something or somebody who upsets, and that means that's a moment you must have learned how to redirect the brain
Yes.
into the opposite. I think that's I don't react to people anymore.
That is good.
But you won't believe it. I react when I talk to the phone and unhuman voice answers.
Oh,
And I'm very ashamed. I say the most horrible words in English in any language. And I have to get rid of that.
get rid of it. And also you react to laptop.
That's right. Yeah, because